This program is brought to you by Cuber, Pittsburgh's source for LGBTQ news and community information. To learn more about Cuber, check out their website at cuber.com. That's QBURGH.com. From the PEP Radio Newsroom, these are the stories we are covering at this hour. Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency is seeking access to troves of sensitive taxpayer data at the IRS. Two people familiar with the inner workings of the plan who were not authorized to discuss the matter publicly told the Associated Press on Monday. If successful, Musk and his group would have access to millions of tightly controlled files that include taxpayer information, bank records, and other sensitive records. The people who spoke to the AP and requested anonymity said DOGE is specifically seeking to access the IRS's integrated data retrieval system, which enables employees to have instantaneous visual access to certain taxpayer accounts, according to the IRS website. Advocates fear that the potential unlawful release of taxpayer records could be used to maliciously target Americans, violate their privacy, and create other ramifications. Harrison Fields, a White House spokesperson, said in an emailed statement that waste, fraud, and abuse have been deeply entrenched in our broken system for far too long. It takes direct access to the system to identify and fix it. DOGE will continue to shine a light on the fraud they uncover, as the American people deserve to know what their government has been spending their hard-earned tax dollars on, he said. Funny, we never get to hear any of that information about Musk's companies, which have been investigated by numerous federal agencies. Go figure. Democratic lawmakers are trying to fight against DOGE plans to access IRS data. Senators Ron Wyden, Democrat from Oregon, and Elizabeth Warren, the Democrat from Massachusetts, sent a letter Monday to acting IRS Commissioner Douglas O'Donnell, demanding copies of any memos that would grant IRS system access to Musk or DOGE. The senators are also seeking justifications for DOGE efforts to inspect tax returns and private bank records. Along with fears that DOGE access to taxpayer data may not be legal, we are also extremely concerned that DOGE personnel meddling with IRS systems in the middle of tax filing season could inadvertently or otherwise cause breakdowns that may delay the issuance of tax refunds indefinitely, the letter reads. In other news, the Trump administration has begun firing several hundred Federal Aviation Administration employees, upending staff on a busy air travel weekend, and just weeks after a January fatal mid-air collision at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport. Probationary workers were targeted in late-night emails Friday, notifying them they had been fired. David Sparrow, president of the Professional Aviation Safety Specialists Union, said in a statement. The impacted workers include personnel hired for FAA radar, landing, and navigational aid maintenance. One air traffic controller told the Associated Press. The air traffic controller was not authorized to talk to the media and spoke on condition of anonymity. A Transportation Department official told the AP late Monday that no air traffic controllers were affected by the cuts and that the agency has retained employees who perform critical safety functions. In a follow-up query, the agency said they would have to look into whether the radar, landing, and navigational aid workers affected were considered to handle critical safety functions. And finally, this opinion from the Philadelphia Inquirer. President Donald Trump has begun to dismantle the rights of LGBTQ Americans. On the chopping block, our ability to provide for ourselves and for our families, to have equal access to educational opportunities, to have our relationships honored, to participate in the economy, to be safe while traveling abroad, and to access government services we pay taxes to support. Trump acts illegally, trying to limit birthright citizenship, which is directly enshrined in the Constitution. Marriage equality rights codified in the 2015 Obergefell v. Hodges decision are being attacked, with states passing resolutions asking it be overturned. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has already suspended issuing passport gender marker changes, handicapping transgender and gender variant people needing those documents for employment, and placing them at risk of harm when traveling abroad. The ability for trans people to serve our country in the military is disappearing, and rights flowing from court decisions like Bostock v. Clayton County that were incorporated by President Joe Biden in his executive orders on non-discrimination are being erased by Donald Trump. It's an overwhelming assault, and our options at the federal level are limited with a Republican-controlled Congress and a compromised federal judiciary. We need to look instead to what can be done locally and under the Pennsylvania Constitution to protect our LGBTQ children, neighbors, and families. Following the lead of Los Angeles, City Council should pass legislation making Philadelphia an LGBTQ sanctuary city. Mayor Jim Kenney's 2023 executive order protecting individuals seeking, receiving, and providing gender-affirming health care was forward-thinking, but executive orders lack the permanency and force of legislation. Council must act. Trump's targeting of transgender children's education and health care is also appalling. The city should start by providing gender-affirming health services that don't receive federal funding and ensure our LGBTQ neighbors have access to relevant prescription medication. To learn more about these stories, check out the PEP Radio page on Blue Sky. If you watch our news videos on YouTube, please click the subscribe button and follow along daily. Be sure to download the Live 365 app to take PEP Radio with you wherever you go. That's the news at this hour. Now back to more music on PEP Radio.